Hello, welcome back to Homeschool Wherever. My name is Carmen Sognonvi, and in this video, I'm going to do a flip through of my November spread setup in my homeschool bullet journal. Now, if you're not familiar with what bullet journals are, they're kind of like an alternative to a planner. So instead of purchasing a planner that's pre-printed with calendars and templates and things like that, you actually take a blank notebook or a journal and you completely customize it to your own needs. So I actually have a whole video on my channel, which I'm going to link down below, that talks about exactly what a bullet journal is, sort of the origins, how different people use bullet journals, some of the conventions. So check that out if you want to learn a little bit more. So as you'll see in this video, I really enjoy the decorative side of bullet journaling. So, using washi tape and illustrations and markers and things like that. However, I always want to emphasize that this is absolutely not something you have to do. A bullet journal can be just as useful without all of these decorative flourishes. So if this doesn't appeal to you, don't feel pressure to do this. Now, if you want to see how the rest of my homeschool bullet journal is set up, because a lot of the main things of curriculum and field trips and things like that, I actually have in the front of the journal. I have a video where I take you on a flip through of the entire homeschool bullet journal. So I'm going to link that down below if you want to see that. If you're new to this channel, we are a multiracial secular family living in New York City, and we're homeschooling for the first time this year. We have two daughters, Sean, who's in 6th grade, and Ella, who's in 3rd grade. We're passionate about using travel to bring our homeschool lessons to life. This channel is all about documenting our homeschooling journey, so if that sounds of interest to you, I hope you'll subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video. We're also full-time family travel creators, so if you want to see that side of our lives, check out our travel channel at Top Flight Family. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I have set things up in my bullet journal for November. Now, I know that on YouTube, typically monthly setup videos are more of a plan with me style, where you actually see the person drawing everything out and setting it up kind of real time but sped up. Now, maybe down the line I will do this, but at this point, because I'm still so new to the more decorative side of bullet journaling, I am super slow and I'm way too embarrassed to show you the process. I mean, that November cover page that you're gonna see soon took me hours to color in. So later on in the year, maybe as I get a bit more skilled, a little bit more confident, I'll show you more of a in real time kind of plan with me style. But for the time being, I'm just gonna kind of do flip through so that you can see how I set things up without boring you with my mediocre art skills. Okay, so before I show you November spread, I just wanna do kind of a quick flip through of October spread. And so this was the cover page for October, and I got this kind of background from washi tape. So it's just this pretty wide washi tape that has this sort of vintage map look, which I really like. Last month I was super into this craft paper look that I've seen a lot of other bullet journalers do. So I ripped out pieces of craft paper and then used a white jelly pen to make these sort of jagged borders, which I think looks really cute. And then on this side is actually sort of a little photo collage from September. So these are pictures from our trip to Cancun, Mexico. This is our trip to Chichen Itza, which was really cool because we had spent the month of September studying the Mayans, and then we got to actually visit this ancient Mayan city. So that was great. So flipping over, this is really the calendar spread for the month. So on this side, we have important dates, and then on this side, we have the actual calendar. And so in October, there were a few major events, one of which was Sean had a play date with her best friend, whom she hadn't seen since before the pandemic, before the lockdown. So that was really exciting. Put a couple of holidays in there, Indigenous Peoples Day, AKA formerly known as Columbus Day. We went apple picking, and then of course we did a trip to Mexico. And then there was Halloween, and we also did our early voting on Halloween. So, I have both in list format, important dates, and then also in a calendar format. And then the rest of the pages are basically my daily logs of everything that we did in our homeschool. And as you'll see in October, I was not always super on top of the logging, particularly on the days when Serge was teaching. So I typically will teach 3 days of the week, and I would say about 80 to 90% of our homeschool is done on those days. And then on the other 2 days of the week, my husband Serge will kind of supplement and do some extra stuff with the girls. But basically the rest of the month is just, slots for me to log in what we are doing. And as you'll see, I was kind of going with this format where I had like 3 big sections and then 2 smaller sections, with the 2 smaller sections being Serge's days. But it started getting really messy because originally my plan was always to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Serge would do Tuesday, Thursday. But October was one of those really busy months with work where I ended up having to switch days a lot with Surge. You know, so then some days, like for example, here I have Monday, October 5th, but then I have this note that says, oh, I actually did the schedule on Tuesday, October 6th. And so it got kind of messy, and also it felt like it was like a little bit too much space here and kind of not enough space here. So I'm going to still kind of play with the format a little bit. But also in terms of like decorative stuff, I kind of like the way this looks, where I put a big piece of washi tape on the back, and then, you know, I put the day of the week and the date there. So I have this kind of newsprint one, and then I have this, that's a different kind of newsprint washi tape. And then this one is the same vintage map washi tape from the beginning of the monthly spread. Okay, so then this page is actually our little photo spread from October. And so this has both photos from the trip that we did a second trip to Mexico, and then also just some highlights of our month. So this was when we went apple picking into the pumpkin patch. And then after this, we actually went to our friend's house. And as you see, we, because we're super paranoid, we kept our masks on the whole time we were at their place, but Sean loves playing with their little dog. This was us at the airport. This was at the first resort at the Four Seasons Punta Mita. And then these pictures are from the second resort we stayed at, which is the Gran Villas. And then a couple pictures from us voting, and then also from Halloween. So this is the November cover page. And as I mentioned earlier, I don't have the best in terms of artistic skills yet. I'm working on it. And so what I actually did for this theme is I basically just looked up like an adult coloring page that was fall themed. And then I colored them all these different colors, you know, kind of jewel tones was kind of what I was going for. This ended up being like way too bright. So not really super loving this shade of green, but everything else I quite like. And yeah, I just think it looks really cool. And again, hand lettering is something I am still working on. So this I actually printed out from like a kind of a handwriting font type of look. So yeah, it's pretty simple, but I like the way this cover page looks. And then this is the calendar spread. So as you can see, I went with a different kind of format. I did more like smaller squares that were more spaced out as opposed to the actual grid that I did in October. And again, it's the same kind of thing where we've got some important dates here and then the actual calendar format here. And right now, you know, November just started, so there's not a ton on the calendar yet, but I'm sure as we go along, this will get filled up. And then the rest of the pages are all just daily spreads where I can log what we are doing each day. And as you can see, I'm starting with a different format. Instead of like having 1 week across both pages, I'm trying to experiment with how it'll be if I do 1 week per page. As you can see, I'm kind of like not giving myself enough space. So I guess I'm still figuring out how much space I need to take these notes. These days are kind of like spilling over. So that doesn't look super awesome, but you know, really aesthetics aside, the main purpose of these pages is really record keeping, which makes it easier for me to submit my paperwork to the Department of Education, because the paperwork requirements in New York City are a little bit more stringent than some other places. So it's really helpful to be able to flip through and just remind myself of all of the things that we did. And the rest of the month is basically the same format where I use a little bit of washi tape here. I did hand letter this, looking pretty decent, right? It's coming along. And then as you can see, I messed up all the dates, so I had to scribble them out. And that is the final date for November. And then I guess this will probably become the December cover page. Okay, if you would like a flip through of the entire homeschool bullet journal, just click that video right there. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Go follow us on both TikTok and Instagram. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.